Hello and welcome back to Starfish Point. My name's Nedman, I'm the founder of Nedman Industries, and in this series I'm playing on my very own custom map and building the City of Dreams. We have an unlimited budget just to basically build whatever we like. That's exactly what we're doing. In this cinematic you'll see what we've done in the last episode. This is actually probably my favourite part of the city now. This kind of beachside area, kind of like the main attraction to the city for the tourists. We've got lovely hotels, beautiful apartments, nice white sands, various different attractions. And we've got our unique little cocktail bar at the end by the cul-de-sac roundabout, which we've kind of designed for some beach seating, etc. And then as we move along, you'll see that we've got a train station up in the background with a train currently at the platform. You'll see that we move along to our sports area with a observation tower, which you can't see the top of because of how zoomed in we are. But I think this looks really fantastic. The city is very much coming together. As we branch over, you'll see again another smaller sort of beach related to the park area. I think it looks fantastic. All is going well. But in this episode, we've got lots to do, lots of building to do. So the city itself, it does look fantastic at the moment, especially this area. Wow, this just gets me. This really does get me. It's unreal. But if we zoom out a little bit and look at the city itself, we've got this large kind of green area in the middle, which kind of makes it feel a little bit incomplete, as you can see down here. We need to fill this in. And we need to fill it in so that it kind of fits the theme a little bit. We also need probably a few more jobs and a few more services to help service the city. But yeah, as a whole it looks really nice, but we're going to try and start with filling in this section in this episode, this nice green open area. So we've got a few choices of stuff that we want to put in. This is kind of like quite a key route through with a lot of nice looking buildings and quite an attractive sort of area. I think for this section here at least, we need something unique, a nice unique building. Not a signature building, just something that looks architecturally unique. I'm thinking something like the modern city hall would be quite cool to look at, but it is rather large until we kind of move it down here. I'm wondering if we can potentially turn it the other way, whether it will fit in anywhere. It might barely squeeze in, but not quite enough to make it look okay. So what we might do is actually utilise the space that we've got down here and have this building kind of down this area on the strip nearby this train station that we've got going on. So I think that's kind of what we're going to do. So we're going to place that down just here. I think this bus stop might cause me a few issues, which is kind of expected, but it is what it is. So that building is quite nice. It looks rather unique, and it kind of builds up a little bit of density here. You can actually upgrade this. You'll see the benefits that we get. It doesn't really affect us at the moment. But if we add this, we get -5 building leveling cost and 5% attractiveness in the whole city. So bang. What I will say is I'm not a fan of the red colour. Not entirely convinced of that. I might see if we could potentially change that ever so slightly. I don't know if we will be able to. Oh, there we go. Well, that was actually a lot easier than I expected. I thought I'd be messing around with that for a while. Good. That looks nice. That's a nice building. Let's decorate it. Like every building that we place down, it seems at the moment, it goes a little bit skew-if on the pathways, but it looks like it's somewhat blended in relatively well on this particular occasion, other than this bit here. That bit's slightly off, so we might see if we can... you know what if we actually made the most of that, just dragged it all the way out? I think that'll be okay. It's possible, it's entirely possible. Let's pull that out to there and see what happens. I don't mind that, because once we decorate that bit, it will probably look okay. We've added these grass bits here, which looks fine, and then we've got a few sections out the back that do need a little bit of love, which is no dramas at all. So we'll just start off by putting down the green area. And we're going to pick this up and we're going to make it connect all the way to here. So it looks like we've actually got nice pathways here. What have we done there? I think we might have killed something. Oops. We might have killed our grass, but actually we can just utilise the grass that we've already got here. Not a major issue whatsoever. We'll just bring that out to there. Then we might as well just use the surfaces that are already placed down here. Drag them out there, and it kind of looks like it should look like this now, to be honest. It looks alright. Not bad at all. But we do need to do quite a bit of like detailing, decorating here, just to kind of make it blend in nicely. And there we have it. We've just detailed it slightly, nothing too crazy, but it certainly looks a lot nicer now than it did before. So yeah, a little bit of detailing, got the buses stopping right outside and the train station directly opposite, so that's a very decent location for it. We're happy with that. Right, on to the next. So I really like the look of this USA Southwest Police Headquarters. I think it looks great building wise, and I kind of like to have it over here somewhere. So what I might do is get rid of the snapping that's going on here. Road connection will be over there. The question is, do we want it facing that way, or do we want the uniqueness facing out towards the highway? I feel like this would probably be a better location, just here. Maybe just like that. I think that could potentially work. Let's see what it looks like if we place it down. So that's on the edge here. We need to obviously connect a road up to it, which will hopefully simply enough be like this. And then there's a connection. Good. We want to upgrade it with a helipad. And then we probably just trying to look at the angle of how we're at. Do we want to bring it across at all? Potentially right to the corner here. And then we can run a pathway that links up down the back here. Bring that in with a connection there, and then bring this connection just about here, and we'll just pop it there for now, connecting it up to the main road. Okay. Oh, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure now. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, once we decorate around it, it'll probably look fine, but not entirely convinced at the moment. I kind of like this building. Will that fit here? Let's see if this will fit here. Oh, it will. Might be worth us popping one of those here. Or have we got... Oh, that's a slightly better sized one. Let's do that. Let's pick a better sized building that will potentially fit within here. That's too large. That's Chinatown though, isn't it? That doesn't fit a theme just here. That could work. That's too large again. That's kicking off over at the tennis place. You can certainly hear that very well. That's too large. I think potentially this one will be best. It's still the China sort of theme, but it still fits theme here slightly. And then if we just decorated around that with some nice grass again, just to kind of bring it in a bit. Same with the back over here. Might actually start looking a little bit nicer. Good, and then decorate it a little bit with some of these trees again. Just like this. The shadows are really strong today. Bring that across there. And then we can probably just do the same along this back section here, along the back of the police headquarters. It's not too bad, to be honest. It's not too bad. Once we start filling in these gaps, it should be alright. I'm wondering if we can utilise this road. What? Would that connect up to here? Obviously, we've got this footpath here. I'm wondering if actually it will connect up and make a sort of unique road connection. Let's have a little look. We want it to run straight and straight in. Not going to be the most efficient of junctions, but it works. It does work. What if we upgrade it to an actual road? That also works, but it does seem too big, doesn't it? The road, it just seems rather large. How strange. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Oh, I can't decide. So what we've gone for is we've filled in this gap slightly. We've put a small park within here to kind of separate the main headquarters from the road. Obviously got this small building here as well, and I'd say it sits a lot nicer now with those changes than it did before. I think that's okay. But no matter how close our police headquarters is, we'll still have crime everywhere for whatever reason. Unknown reason, but it's just happening. But yeah, I think that's okay now, like that. I think that's alright, not too bad. The next building that I want to use is this modern university. I want to try and put it right at the back here, connected with that corner. Slot that in like that. It's nice and flush into the corner. Try and get it right. Pop it there. How do we look? I think that looks pretty decent. Good. What we want to do as well then is try maybe we can connect that road up. I don't think we're going to be able to. It might be the case that we just have to create a separate road. Essentially like this. Because that's a funny angle. It's quite tough really, that road, that sort of road connection. It might be the case we have to use a smaller road because the roads are pretty small. The space is pretty small, sorry. Maybe use that across here. Like that, so that there is some sort of road connection. And it could be the case that we pour this round and we just drop it into here. Maybe there. Then that'll be somewhat connected up to our main road. And there are a few extensions for this university, which we do want to use. So let's just have a look at them and see what we can do. So this extension wing just places itself down on the side here. That's fine, that uses no more space. We've got a university library and an academy building. The academy building is quite cool. I kind of like it, but I think it'll probably fit. Ooh, I want it to fit somewhere slightly out the way. Maybe somewhere like this, or actually just on this corner. Potentially, what about this library? Library, I think we're going to have to just skip. It's just a little bit. Let's see what that looks like. 1 second. I mean, it looks alright. I think it's just a bit too. It just doesn't really like match it that much. I mean, it's quite nice. Let's see if we can adjust the orange slightly. See if we can potentially allow that to match up a little bit more. Does that look better in that colour? You know what? Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, well maybe we'll consider keeping that for the time being. And then in here, what was this again? Academy building. I want to place one right on the corner, like that, and then potentially another one in this little section here. That, and then let's try and build some sort of connection through here. It doesn't need to be a road, but if it fits, then it fits. How does that fit? I mean, it fits. Kind of pointless. Doesn't really go anywhere. But it does fit. I kind of like the sloped curvature there that we've got. Okay, maybe that can work. Let's try and decorate this and then see how it sits. Okay, not bad. It looks okay in my opinion. So we've put a little car park and then a little motorbike park just around the back. We've got these two nice extension wings, which kind of look like university dorms, to be honest, which actually fit in pretty well. So that kind of area is filling up relatively nicely. I think that looks decent enough, to be honest with you. Adding slightly bit more density, slightly more uniqueness, but then we've obviously got this quite large gap here, which we need to decide on what we're going to do with. So we need a college as well, and to be honest with you, this what was it? The French college actually looks rather unique. It could potentially fit in here somewhere, kind of like at this bend. The shape that it is might actually kind of fit in relatively well, but even if we just had it just at an angle or somewhat around here, I think it would actually look relatively unique. So that's something that we can certainly consider. What about if we're... I think it looks better actually attached to the road, which I never thought I'd say. But if that went there, and then we moved it ever so slightly backwards, so that it wasn't stood on the road, I think that looks actually quite cool. Can we do some weird stuff with it and double it up, make it look like a whole building? No, we can't. Not really. No, I don't think that's possible, but you know, it is what it is. Is there any upgrades attached to this? There is a rooftop. Oh, look at that. That looks 10 times better now. Look at that. That is fantastic, because you'll have an unreal view. Let's just catch this view. If you're sat on here, you've got a view of the entire sports park, view of the bridge, which is more of a landmark than a useful bridge, a view of the observation tower, the train line, and the beach and the other islands. That, I'd say that's a pretty desirable place to go to college, if you ask me. I think that's very, very cool. Now, another building that I want to kind of get used to is Community Kindergarten from the China Pack, and I think this is a rather unique building that would probably actually fit somewhat nicely just on the edge here. You'll need to adjust it slightly, like just so it sits relatively flush. That's okay. How are we looking on this end? That fit pretty perfectly? I think it does. And that, what does that do again? That gives us +5 well-being within 800 meters and +2 outdoor recreation. There's no upgrades, but it is kind of a unique style building which kind of fits the theme of this district that we've got going on here. I wanted a second road connection here, but it was going a bit weird when I was doing over there. But like that, I think that looks relatively fine in that section. I Do we want to change the colour of the roof at all? Or do we want to keep it as it is? I wonder if we can delete the Chinese writing. That's nothing against the Chinese writing, it's just that it doesn't really fit the theme of our sort of American-ish Miami Beach type of thing. But I don't think you can actually get rid of it. That's net lanes. Let's just grab this. Can we do this? No. 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 This. No. And we might be out of luck. But to be honest with you, it's not a major problem. You're not going to notice it anyway. But yeah, cool. No dramas. Unless it counts as that's plants. That's props, so that won't do it. That's surfaces. That's just buildings. No problem. We'll leave it on there. It's not a major issue at all, to be honest, but I just thought while we were there we could see if we could change it. But I like that building. I think that looks pretty cool. It's a nice, modern, sleek sort of look, which kind of fits in with the rest of the buildings that we've got here, which is very, very nice. This area's coming along a little bit, actually. Kind of alright. Another unique building that I kind of want to have a look at is the Urban Medical Centre. I get that we've got a major hospital just down the road, but it's such a cool looking building. Such a cool looking building. I'm thinking that it could actually fit the theme relatively nicely. So let's just see where we could potentially put it. Even on this section here. The reason that I want it is because it's got this like rooftop sort of cafe restaurant, but I'm trying to think where would be best for it to go, whether it would be better to put it just up here slightly, or right in front of our university on the main drag. That's the kind of question that we're going for. Let's put it here, have a little look, let's close it off a bit into the corner, just like that. Then I really like that sort of rooftop area. I think you can actually make this a bit taller. You can, and actually that looks more like a hotel than a medical centre. And then if we do that, that'll get rid of the ambulances, and we kind of disguise that as a hotel. If you ask me, that looks really, really nice. That's a nice looking building. Very, very unique, but yeah, that looks so much more like it should be on the main strip as a sort of hotel sort of area rather than a medical centre, and I'm happy with that. I think that really looks really nice, really modern. Yeah, happy with that. I might just think about whether we can move this ever so slightly the other way. I don't think we need to, but we're going to do it anyway. Just literally the tiniest little portion there. Good, 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 good. That is awesome. That's a really nice looking building. Okay, let's try and kind of fill in these gaps. I wonder if our car park, which is long and is too long, here is. It is, of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Same with all of these car parks. They're just slightly too big. That could fit. Maybe not. No problem. Right. Regards to these, should we just brace them? Might draw that back. Well, that didn't go to plan. Don't know what happened there. Not meant to happen. Don't tell anyone that happened. Right. Okay, we've killed it. We've killed it. We've ruined Christmas. That's the end. There is no more. That's so bizarre that it just drags all the way over. I don't like the way it does that. Kind of annoying. Okay, we've somewhat messed that up slightly, but nothing that we can't really fix with a little bit of DIY. But we just need to find the right sort of the pavement surfaces, I think it was. So if we just grab that and drag that across to where we want it to go, as long as we're at the right sort of angle for it. which will probably be about here. Should just be able to close that in, and maybe it will look normal again. Yeah, I think that looks relatively normal, if you ask me. And then I think we're gonna, that's alright over there. So maybe we'll just grab that like this. It looks okay-ish. Right, so our French college is being relegated for the time being because we want to use this building, which actually fills the space a little bit better than the French college, still with a nice unique kind of rooftop area attached to it, as you can see. Still looks pretty decent. So what we might do is see if we can move it a little bit this way. We're looking on the edges. Maybe it needs to go back slightly to here. Now we're looking all right on that sort of front. Let us try and draw out this to the corner. Let's add a couple of small, he says. Small, he says. There we go. A couple of small trees just to fill that gap in. That looks stupid. Fine. We've still got that space there. I might just draw that back ever so slightly because it's not quite right. There we go. Still looks fine. Good. Nice. Yeah. A little bit taller, but it certainly does the job. We just need to sort out what we're going to do around the back here to blend it in a little bit more than it is currently. Probably just with a few pathways like every other time we do this. Let's just pick a couple of trees of varying heights, maybe some hickories, maybe a couple London panes, a couple lindens, just to blend that in just a little bit out of the back here. Same just along the back on that section there, and then that's somewhat more blended in than before. Good. I do still want to use this, but whether... I mean, it still fits here. It does still fit here. Maybe we should actually have that there, which I didn't expect to happen. Let me upgrade you so that you still look cool and good. And then let's just rotate it so that it covers off that pathway. Or even... No, it makes sense for it to be flat and aligned with the road here. So that's what we'll do. Have that nicely aligned with the road. Still has good vibes, restaurant theme wise. You can still get a good sort of view. Well, there we go, that's good. Nice, and then we might fill this with either car parking or something else. Just placed a few flower beds outside on that concrete area just to make it look a little bit nicer, and then put a few trees up in between those two buildings. Then we just need to figure out what we're going to do at the back here. To me, it would make sense to have car parking. It just kind of makes sense. We just need to find one that's relatively a decent fit. This one could be a decent fit. Let's just have a look at the rest of them just in case. That one's unique. This one looks alright, to be fair. So let's grab that. Draw that in at a decent sort of angle. I'm going to have to put it about here. Oh, a little bit more adjust the angle slightly. Just about there. Good. Let's see if we can fill this gap in. A few smaller trees just around the back here. Which we certainly can do. Perfect. And then we've got this nice little space here as well. So let's think about how we want to utilize that. And for the small gap, we've got this little 2x2 urban promenades mixed housing. And then we're just going to fill in the spaces around here. And then just put a couple of trees down just to make it look a little bit nicer and blended. Grab some of those. Try and vary the height just a little bit. Just put a few of these around the back and around the side. Well, good. Right, let's just have a little look. From this angle, that fits in relatively well. From this angle, I'm happy with the way that looks. It looks a lot more filled in. Some very nice rooftop locations here. Big dollar bills if you want to come and eat up there. Not gonna lie. I don't like the back of this though. I don't know why it does that. But it just looks butters. And then we got nice rooftop over here, nice rooftops over here, all looking out onto the ocean and onto the observation tower, which is fantastic. Quick access to the train station there. And then we've got a couple more unique buildings just along here. So I think that's coming along nicely. Let's just try and fill in this gap as well next to the highway and see what we can muster up. So I'm toying with the idea of having a couple of taller buildings here. This building is very nice, but I'm just wondering if it's just a little bit too big for what we want. Even if we whacked it all the way out the back here, I'm still thinking that might just be a little bit too big. Let's say if we had it here, right on the edge there. To be fair, it's not too bad. I thought it would be a lot more out of place than that. But is it just that little bit too big? I'm not entirely sure. What if we moved it here? I mean, it looks alright. I mean, it's a nice looking building. The building itself is really nice to look at. But does it fit our area that we're trying to develop here? Is the question. I'm just trying to mess around and see if we can blend these in a little bit. I actually think they look all right now. That building here, yeah, it's large, but it kind of fits a bit better now that we've got this one next to it. This one is the modern telecom building, so it actually helps us out quite a lot as well with all of the telematics stuff, whatever you want to call it. As you can see, it turns everything green, keeps everybody happy, so it's kind of worth having. I'm thinking these two together does sort of help, and then this building has a lot of decent effects to it as well. Yeah, I don't mind them. I might see if there's maybe another building that we just pop around the back here, and then we'll see if we're happy with it from there. Because we don't want this town, at least on this island, we don't want it to be skyscrapers and stuff. We just want this to be like rather unique. I think maybe if we're going to build a downtown connected to this city, we'll put it down here. But what we need to remember is we still have the national park area to build on. We still have all of this space for potentially a humongous city with skyscrapers. Loads of room there. And we've only built down here. Ignore that. That's just me testing out buildings and seeing what will fit. So yeah, I actually think these look all right. I might try and have a little mess around and see if I can find another building that will look quite cool to just maybe sit out the back here and then go from there. Okay, this is what we're currently working with. I found this building, which looks fantastic. I really like the look of that. It's relatively modern. nice glass textures on the outside there, and I think it kind of fits next to this building a little bit better. We still want to use this, although it is a little bit older, but maybe just on this side of the road instead of where we did have it. So potentially we can either build a little road out that goes from here, just like that, which will give it a connection, and then add a cul-de-sac into the end of here, like that. So then that's still linked up and connected. We want this to refrain people from parking on it. Good. And then this has a nice connection here. We just want a little road that goes through, potentially here, if we can. Going a bit weird because of the bus stop. But if we draw that across there, we might be able to fit a smaller building just out the back here. It is possible. So we'll, if we can connect that to there, just like that. Small connections. We might even be able to use an actual road. What kind of gaps have we got? It's possible. It's potential that we could fit a proper road through there, because that was actually all surface area, wasn't it? Let's try a. Well, that's a road with trees and parking. I think that's going to be slightly too big. Oh, this is quite hard, isn't it? That. So we actually have loads of room. It's just that we can't see because of the zoning blocks, as you can kind of see. So that's probably our best bet, isn't it? Just at that nice little angle there. And that closes off both of the sides quite nicely, as you can see for yourselves here. I'm happy with that. And then do we want to bring a small little alley just out at the back here? I think we probably do. You look like you've eaten a lot of the pathways here, but that's not a problem. Okay, right, we need to figure out what we're going to do with this space here. It might be a case that we put another building, or it might be a case that we fill it with something different. So we'll have a little mess around and look. Well, I've placed down another building. I'm just in the process of trying to make it work. So I'm just trying to look at the finer details. I've destroyed a few hedges and stuff like that. I'm just trying to make it work quite nicely. Make it kind of fit the theme of being a little bit higher scale, higher level sort of residence. So that's what we're kind of just working on at the moment. Just trying to figure out a couple of things here and there. I think that would be okay out the front, just like that. And let's have a little look around. Maybe another unique fountain just there, and one just there, which would look really nice. I might see if we can potentially line a few pots around this section here as well. Wall to wall would work, not really. Maybe the fencing would probably work best. Be like that. I think that looks alright. Looks relatively well maintained, doesn't it? What will happen if we draw a pathway along here? Will the whole game break? Oh, it doesn't. Good. Nice. And then let's just drop that gap in here. We'll get rid of the smaller trees. We just want a few big ones to kind of fill in that space. Down here we're doing alright. We just want one there. One on the corner like that. And then that kind of fits in here. which looks rather unique as well. We've added this large sort of high density office here because it's kind of older style, which matches this one as well. So they are all looking relatively decent. Good. We need to fill in this spot here, and then we'll work on filling in this spot here. So within this space here, I've just added a small multi-story car park, just to kind of like hook on to the end of this building. Looks like it's parking for that. I think that looks pretty good now. Now that we've sorted that out. Yeah, happy with the way that looks. Now we just need to decorate this area slightly, make it look a little bit nicer. And then we should be all good in the hood. This is a long episode, but there's a lot of details that are going into it. So yeah, we'll keep on working. And there we have it. The other side is now decorated as well, with a few unique buildings. So that looks really nice. We've made quite a lot of progress in this episode. This looks fantastic. I think we need a cinematic to show off our work. And here we are. Our day is complete. So as you can see from what we've worked on, we've got some nice taller buildings. I would say they're probably medium density-ish. I wouldn't say they're too high. They're not like mega skyscrapers, but I think they look fantastic. And I'd say that we've definitely blended them in relatively nicely as well, so that they somewhat fit the theme. As we go across them, we'll also see that what we started the video off with, our nice unique building, looks really nice sort of outdoor area right opposite the train station, so that people can hop on and off of the train line, which is fantastic. You'll see up close we've got our observation tower, which is kind of a key tourist / landmark within our city that people come to visit. And then as we peer over that, you'll see the other buildings that we put in. Lots of rooftop terraces, lots of rooftop cafes, bars, all of that good stuff. Really fantastic. And I'll leave you to it to watch the rest of the cinematic.